What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? Do you have a first and last name?
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charge where?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in, process and lock them up.
Hi guys, welcome back to another Dana with the Data migrant crisis episode. So today I want to talk about border czar, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, and top DOJ officials have arrived in Chicago to observe the immigration enforcement operation. So they're down in Chicago, ground zero for these illegal migrant crises, and they're going to ride along with ICE to deport illegal criminals. Yeah. With two top Trump administration officials in Chicago, federal law enforcement began a targeted immigration blitz this past Sunday. The agency did not say how many arrests have been taking place so far. Quote, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, along with federal partners, including the FBI, ATF, DEA, CBP, and the U.S. Marshal Services begin conducting enhanced targeted operations today in Chicago to enforce U.S. immigration law and preserve public safety and national security by keeping potentially dangerous criminals out of communities. Drug Enforcement Administration's Chicago field office confirmed the operations, posting a picture on X of Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovee and Tom Homan, Donald Trump's top border czar. So I want to play this clip of Tom Homan doing a ride-along with ICE in Chicago.
At part of the see right here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV of a bust at part of the ICE raid in Chicago from early this morning. Let's watch.
When they come out, they should know what his current immigration status is and they arrest him. Yeah.
What's the fastest he's likely to be deported if he's fast-tracked? I mean, if he's got, if he's in, if he's here illegally, if he's got pending charges against him, if those things are all.
Well, if he has pending charges, the office will work with local prosecutors' office to make sure they don't want him. They want to take him back into custody through a writ. We can give it to him, but many times the local prosecutors just say, "No, just deport him. It's going to be a cost savings to taxpayers, and deporting is probably worse than what each one ends up getting for a conviction, anyways." So if he's a Mexican national, Central American national, he's got an order to remove, he can remove in a couple of days. If it's a more difficult country, it could be weeks or months, depending on what country he's from.
Yeah.
Some of the document, they got to accept that he's a national of the country, and sometimes that takes anywhere from a few days for a few weeks.
Yeah. What are we doing with these countries that say they just won't take them back?
Well, we're working on that right now. The difference from the last administration, this administration, you got President Trump, who's a strong president. And I really truly believe we'll get these countries to take them back because he would demand they take them back. The Biden administration didn't make those demands. You know, under the first Trump administration, Mexico didn't want to remain in the Mexico program, but they did it. El Salvador didn't want to take MS-13 members back, but they did it because President Trump put pressure on them. So I got all the faith in the world President Trump would do it again.
So the conversation that they're having, you know, Dr. Phil is asking them questions about, you know, what happens once they're arrested? How long does it take for them to be deported? And, you know, also, what about the countries accepting them or not accepting them? And it's funny because these MS-13 that came from El Salvador and everywhere else, Venezuela, how can you say you don't want to take your own national citizens back, but you want to send them here to continue to bring havoc and crime and increase the drug and gun trafficking, but you don't want those people back in your country? But instead of you doing your job, these foreign countries like El Salvador, and locking up these criminals, you want them to remain in the United States? Absolutely not. Federal authorities made more than 1,400 arrests nationwide since last week, Thursday, as part of the Trump administration crackdown on illegal immigration. This is according to ICE. The agency did not respond to questions about many of these arrests occurred in Chicago, though it does tote the arrest of an illegal immigrant with 2 DUIs on his social media accounts. In keeping with city law, the Chicago Police Department did not participate in the operations. And that makes sense because when ICE come in and FBI, ATF, or what have you, these are federal agencies. Get out of their way. Get out of their way because they have more resources. They have more experienced officers that know where to go in, arrest them, and get them up out of here. The governor of Illinois, Governor J.B. Spritzer, he appeared on CNN State of the Union program and reiterated that he agrees violent criminals who are undocumented should be deported. Now, him and Brandon Johnson, they did a press conference, and Brandon Johnson was saying Chicago and the state of Illinois is still going to remain a sanctuary city and state. But the governor himself agrees that the criminals need to be deported. However, anybody that came over here illegally is automatically a criminal. That because you broke the law. But if you are breaking the law when you're here illegally, the governor of Illinois is saying, well, get them out of here. You could come and get them. You could come and deport them. But what about everybody else?
Governor J.B. Pritzker, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and former Mayor Rahm Emanuel were all together today. They were denouncing President Trump's plans on deportation raids and plans to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. NBC5's political reporter Marianne Ahern has more.
We have not seen these three in the same room for some time. However, Governor J.B. Pritzker, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and former Mayor Rahm Emanuel together today cutting the ribbon on a $10 million grant program for small business. It also offered an opportunity for them to defend DEI programs that President Trump is ordering an end to.
If you don't know what diversity, equity, and inclusion is, come out here to North Lawndale. That's what it looks like.
What the federal government is trying to do is attack what we've accomplished in Illinois.
There were also critics in the room who interrupted as Pritzker and Mayor Johnson explained how Chicago and the state of Illinois will not cooperate with ICE agents carrying out deportations, except in the case of violent criminals.
I'm talking about Donald Trump and his administration, Tom Homan, people at the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones that are threatening people.
Any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago, we will defend our city.
What about the illegals that are victimizing the citizens?
Those critics shouted at the mayor as he left after taking 2 questions. Meanwhile, it's Emanuel's first Chicago public appearance since returning from his post as ambassador to Japan.
Why were you here? What signal does this send?
No. Is going back to Harrison, you were there. I came
People
back
are
away.
wondering what's next, and could you
Lunch.
be thinking? Could you be thinking about running? Well, some things never change. Might Emanuel run again?
All right, we don't need to hear about that. However, so the former mayor of Chicago, Ron Emanuel, think it's a joke. The governor and the mayor of Chicago is not taking Trump administration seriously. But guess what? Tom Homan is in Chicago locking these illegals out as he should. But it's funny because the governor will get on TV and say, well, this is going to remain a sanctuary city and we're going to protect those and we believe in diversity. But then you on an interview on CNN or MSNBC, one of them talking about you agree with Tom Homan and the Trump administration to deport the criminals. Make up your mind. But whether you make up your mind or not, federal government trumps state, especially when we're talking about illegals, especially when we're talking about border control, immigration, ICE, FBI, ATF, all of these things. So Tom Homan's in Chicago and he's getting stuff done. He is cleaning the swamp and it is way long overdue. And hopefully the people of Chicago can start getting some resources and public policies to help the residents, American citizens of Chicago.
How do you get out?
Yeah, I get it. I'll go.
There we go.
Okay. So, from where?
Right here.
No, where is he from?
Oh, I believe Cambodia. Where are you from, man? Well, where were you born in?
Thailand.
Thailand?
Yeah.
Okay, prior to deport, sex offender.
Sex offender.
Child or who's got to file him?
It was facilitate criminal sex with a child over a computer.
Okay. Prior to deport, sex offender, dealing with children. Walking the streets of Chicago.
What's your name?
Seda.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? You have a person last name.
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charge for it.
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom says it.
Your mother's a citizen,
Yes.
but you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents, this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh.
Let's take him in and process him, lock him up.
Got it, sir.
All right. Is it a transport vehicle?
Working on it. Okay.
And there you have it. Another one bites the dust. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dana with the Data, Migrant Crises. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Dana with the data. Dana with the data.